Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon Legends Arceus. We got our last Wisp here, huzzah! So we'll be doing the last little bit of the Spirit Tomb quest. Might as well show that off while I can.
Okay, so you were going for that because I saw you very purposefully ignore a whole bunch of them throughout this
It
playthrough.
was because I was going to do them all at once, and I didn't want to have to remember which ones I'd already gotten and which ones I didn't.
I guess that makes
I
sense.
like how she counts out the number of wisps you have, then says, "Oh, you've got 90. Here's a reward. Oh, you've also got 100. Here's a reward." Like she's surprised by the fact that you have both 90 and 100 after counting to 107.
She's reading the manifest from top to bottom. She didn't get to the end of the page yet.
It's just such an awkward dialogue implementation.
You're saying a Pokemon game has stilted dialogue in writing? I'm
Well,
shocked.
that's not exactly what I'm talking about. It's more just the implementation of the scripting there. They could very well have said, "Oh, you've reached 100. Here's a couple of rewards for you both at once." You know, they could have just had.
Yeah, no, I generally appreciate it when games are like, oh, you've got a whole bunch of them, and then it just doesn't make you have to press A 20,000 times.
Yeah. Well, in any case, uh, what is this?
She's a ghost.
Oh,
Yeah, this is Spirit Tomb. You had to do some other kind of side quest in Gen 4 in order to unlock Spirit Tomb.
You had to put 2 odd keystones in the well to get them.
Yeah.
So odds are you weren't going to be able to see it until you fought Cynthia.
I believe the 108 ghosts thing is based off of some sort of Buddhist or Hindu myth. But because 108 I know is an important number. Hold on. If I Google 108, I'm sure.
108 is said to be the number of temptations that a human soul must face throughout the reincarnation cycle before reaching nirvana and exiting the cycle.
Yeah, it's
This does tie the number
Yeah.
to 108 to the concept of death, but unlike some other numbers with that association, 108 doesn't immediately have negative connotations.
yeah, it's big in both Japanese. No, that's not Japanese. That's Jainism. I cannot read, but also Hindu and Buddhism. Okay, there we go. I learned something new today. Okay, I need to ask you guys. When you turn 30, do you just suddenly start thinking that history is really cool and rad? Is that like something that happens to everybody? Because I've been like, oh man, ancient Babylonian history is really cool and rad. I'm going to read a whole bunch of this. And then I realized that this is the kind of shit my dad did too, where he's like, oh man, World War I biplanes are really interesting and rad, was my dad. And so he just watches that all the time.
it has to do with the fact that when you're older and you have more life experience, you have more perspective on how time progresses in the social world, and that gives you a different perspective on history and what it means to the people who lived it. You know, it also helps that you're not being graded on it, so you're just free to cherry pick whatever you're interested in about history and ignore all the rest.
I guess that is also true. Because like what I've been doing in a lot of my spare time is just like, oh, I'm gonna look up this thing. Oh man, medieval England's really cool. Oh man, the hell, what the fuck was that?
What?
I thought I heard it
I just
because.
don't- No, it's the squeaky
It's
chair.
my chair squeaking. Yes. Oh no! It's picked up a squeak.
I thought that was coming from the game for a second, and I was just like, why is this guy suddenly Kazoo Man?
Here, have a friendship bracelet.
Okay.
Oh, now we can't even edit it out. I'm sorry.
Speaking of Skyrim, we're doing the 1,000 steps again. Great. Probably one of the most of the clunkiest aspects of Skyrim is the way that it really does want you to just be able to go off in any direction right from the start. But at the very beginning of the main quest, they lock all the dragon powers beyond this long and extremely linear 1,000 steps thing that you need to get
Oh.
through part of the main quest to even access in the first place.
So if you go the other way, then you just don't get your dragon powers for 10 hours?
Yeah, I mean, the game heavily encourages you to go to Whiterun and start that quest. But like, you might want to avoid doing it anyway because the dragons start appearing all over the goddamn place once you get that far into the quests. So, you know, it's a little bit more relaxing, honestly, to just explore Skyrim at your leisure without random dragons popping up all over the goddamn world.
You know what? That's actually something that I noticed in Tears of the Kingdom as well, is that it's a lot more annoying once you get far enough in the Yiga quest, and suddenly random Yiga people start trying to beat you up out of nowhere. And it's just like, can you leave me alone for 20 minutes, please? Thank you.
No.
Well, I mean, that just gives you incentive to go finish off the Yiga clan, but...
Well, no, because it's only after you beat Koga, Yiga people will be out for blood because they want to avenge him. So...
And it never stops?
It never stops.
Oh. Oh, well, that's just lame.
Yeah, so if you want to not have that happen, you don't do the Yiga quest, but... I know that in Breath of the Wild, if you want to get like the real ending, quote unquote, you need to do it. In Tears of the Kingdom, doing it, I think I forget what the reward is for doing it. I don't think it's anything that special, so I guess you could just ignore it. You only have to do the first part to get auto build anyway.
Also,
so.
Wait, holy shit, Koga's still around in Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the giant pit that he fell into in Breath of the Wild led straight to the underground. So he just
He's been down
survived,
there
I
the entire
guess.
time.
Well, he does have a bit of padding, so
Maybe he did the Super Mario 64 ground pound trick and landed just fine.
Well, that's interesting. Oh, here we go.
This fight's actually, I think, easier than the Electrode
Electrode.
one.
A little bit, yeah.
To be honest, I like the Titans from Scarlet and Violet a little better than these. Well, I should say the Titans.
I liked the Titan, the like the situations that the Titans were in. I didn't find the fights particularly very interesting themselves, but like the scenarios and finding them I thought were pretty neat.
My favorite part of the Titan boss battles was Arven, because he would always send in this one Pokemon and would get one shot like a little I don't know.
Arven should have been the main character of the game.
Yeah, but my point is, like, he would always send in a Pokemon to help you fight the Titan, and the Pokemon he sends in to help the Titan gets punked. And then at the end, he fights you with all the Pokemon that he picked up while fighting the Titans, and it's supposed to be this triumphant, like, roll call of all the Pokemon that he's used during the quest, but it's just like, yeah, I'm really intimidated by these Pokemon that couldn't fight for shit the last time I saw them.
No, you could at least pretend you're
Arven was a
intimidated.
character that I didn't expect to end up liking, because he's kind of a douchebag at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But he's actually like really well developed throughout the course of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he effectively is the main character, all things considered. It's his conflict. He's the one with character growth. He's the one with things at stake. You're just kind of like this guy who he meets on the first day of school and does all the heavy lifting.
I like how the three main plot characters of Scarlet and Violet are Arven, who's tied in really tightly to the main plot, and like Penny, who's tied in with the Team Star stuff, and then there's Nimona, who has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, she's this. Honestly, Nimona is effectively you. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, Nimona is just a player character-esque figure who just really likes battling shit and will be muscle for anybody else who asks nicely enough. Yeah. Petition that they make Pokemon, I don't know, Mauve version where you play as Nimona and Penny and Arvin hang around with you the whole game like party members. I'd buy it. There, I'll vote with my wallet for that, Nintendo, if you want to do that.
Well, the good news is that if you're willing to like do the stuff you need to do to legally emulate the stuff, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet modding scene is pretty poppin'. So that's nice.
You mean like no, those are Poffins.
Wait.
No.
Yeah, everybody gets that wrong.
Wait, everybody's like, oh, these potato mochis in this game, and they didn't make them Poffins, like the actual food from Gen 4. Wow, missed opportunity here, Game Freak. 0 out of 10.
Poffins? What?
In Gen 4, for the contest,
you would tear up your bottom screen to make a bunch of like flavored bread for your Pokemon.
Oh,
yeah, it was a little mini game so that like you mixed ingredients in a bowl and whatnot, and the things that you made from it would increase your Pokemon's contest stats, which is like beauty and grace and stuff like that. But the mini game was, if I remember correctly, just like drawing really circles really, really fast. So it freaking destroyed the touchscreen if you ever tried to do it more than once.
I never played Gen 4 on actual hardware, so that kind of slipped my mind. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was any other game that really like destroyed the touchscreen in a similar way. And nothing else is coming to mind. Pokemon Dash, that game sucks.
Elite Beat Agents had this spinning wheel gimmick during certain songs that required you to rapidly spin the stylus in the screen itself. So it's like if you're not making Poffins, that's what's also fucking.
I really just need our game console makers to stop trying to implement things that are unreplaceable into their game controller schemes, because like I can replace a gamepad, I can repair a drifting goddamn analog stick. I cannot replace a touchscreen or a gamepad with a monitor on it.
I think Wii U gamepads are like $200 or $300.
Fucking dollars. Yeah, they've got a lot of hardware inside the gamepad, so they're pretty expensive.
The left I'm looking at my gamepad right now, caked in dust for the record. The left stick, I used it so much more than the right stick that like the rubber on it is melting off. It's kind of gross, actually.
Jesus.
But like, if you can replace controllers and you can repair controllers if you're DIY enough, but the touch screen on your handheld, not so much. If you scratch that thing up, it's scratched up forever, and you kind of just need to get another system.
This part. Screw this part of the story where you do everything for these people, and then suddenly one thing goes wrong, and they just assume you're the bad guy, and then they kick you out of the town. And it's such a hackneyed, terribly written part of the game. And what makes it worse are these freaking animations where you just see the main character every single time someone says anything look down and be like, oh man, they said something. It's
you prove beyond a doubt that she's free of guilt, that you're trying to prove a negative.
Yeah, I don't like that sort of shit.
Yeah, like you literally
that's like, what Arita just said.
No.
Yeah.
the thing about it is not only
maybe it's actually written really well. I'm kidding.
Well, no, it's the thing is that for one thing, it's a forced plot point when these characters are saying reasonable things and the authority figure is just ignoring them anyway. But it's also just the presentation as well. There's nothing to hammer this home to make it an emotional moment because all of the animations are so stilted. There's no voice acting. The frickin' like the environmental cue is just a weird filter on the sky that looks terrible. There's no punch to this scene at all, which just makes the whole thing just really laughable and bad. Like look at that. It's like this would be bad animation on a PS2 game.
Yeah,
I
kind of.
Yeah. And like this whole like, oh, it's just like, oh, it was her fault. Like we literally just spent 40 hours helping every single person in this goddamn village. Like, fuck you guys.
Like, maybe stand up for me a little bit, would you?
It's kind of out of left field too, because the leader of of Galaxy Team was very, you know,
Standing up for you most of the time.
yeah. So it's like, if he was suspicious, there should have been more build up to that.
Yeah, there's obviously at the beginning of the game, people are suspicious, but like they don't mention it at all for the entire mid game. So
what is Silene doing right now?
She's kicking us out of the village.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So from this point on, does this persist until the end of the game, or just until the next big plot point?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Wait. So you can't go back into town?
Nope. You're stuck outside. There is like a guy you can buy basic supplies from. And like there is somebody there that effectively lets you access the game's equivalent of the PC box. But like you can't do any side quests in town, you can't buy anything, you can't change your clothes. It's this dumb plot point, basically.
There are like there is potential to this kind of plot turn in a story like this, because it is a shakeup. I just don't like the actual like implementation here. It's too out of left field. But
yeah, I also just don't care about these characters at all, which makes
that's another problem.
Which makes the whole like betrayal aspect not really mean anything. Like I don't have any attachment to the leader of the Galaxy Team, so like it just makes him seem like a douchebag when he does this. Oh.
Okay, so the thing about this kind of turnabout betrayal is that it would be really, really effective if the characters that surrounded your protagonist had really grown on you at this point, and they themselves were, standing by you.
I mean,
they kind of are,
some
but
of them
they're missing
are...
they're missing that aspect where you actually like. Where you actually feel like it means something because you really like them.
Yeah, so the professor, the other playable character model, the clan leaders, and Silene are the only ones that are explicitly stated to be like still. Oh, it happened to you, the farting! Oh my god!
What?
Oh, the fish was.
Excuse me?
Didn't you see that the basculin, when it was in the water, it made the water green? That's what happened to me with Ursaring, in this game state, where whenever I rode Ursaring, the dust clouds that would kick out, instead of being like the normal brown color, they were bright green, and it looked like he was farting everywhere.
Somebody help this bear.
Yeah, but it happened to Ryan while he was riding the water, which is just really... They made it more look like he was driving through the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle zoos.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and then you have to freaking go to every single region and talk to every single nobody NPC.
Okay, so you're going around to all the people that you helped throughout the game, and they're all like, "Yeah, no, sorry, can't help you. We'd be stuck at war with this village with like 10 people in it, and that's just too much of a risk."
Can't you just do it in secret?
How would you know if I did it at all if it was a secret? then the credits
the,
just
the
roll.
punch the unfortunate thing is that the punch of this situation is kind of blunted by the fact that at this point in the game you're kind of a powerhouse with your Pokemon. So
Oh yeah, if you wanted to beat the shit out of everyone in town and rule with an iron fist, you could.
well, there's that, but there's also just the fact that the reason you were with the town in the first place was because at the beginning of the game you wouldn't have stood a chance on your own. At this point you could totally be on your own. You can just roll out there with your Pokemon, defend yourself like there's nobody's business, harvest whatever foods you want, have yourself a good old picnic.
You could be the stand on the top of the mountain super boss trainer for the next isekai to come.
Yeah, you could. You totally could. Volo's back.
He's behind you too, but fuck this guy. So yeah, he takes you to a place that's effectively like your makeshift base.
Oh.
Which we will see next time. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. We planned that
Huzzah.
shit.